Here's your host, Brian Fisher.
Hi, and welcome to Focal Point, AFR Talk, this Thursday edition of Focal Point. Great to have you in the conversation. 888-589-8840 is the number to call. Now, we're in the middle of not only this vote tomorrow over defunding Obamacare, but it's tied in with the issue of the debt ceiling. As you are aware, we are coming up against a hard ceiling on the debt. The debt ceiling, by the way, the official debt in the United States has been at $16.699 trillion for 4 months. Every single day for the last 4 months, if you go to the U.S. Treasury site, it will give you exactly the same total for the debt of the United States, $16.669 trillion, which happens to be $25 million below the limit. So the Treasury Secretary has been doing all these gimmicks, basically putting a bunch of IOUs into different federal programs. So this is how they're getting around it. They're just putting IOUs in there. This has to do with the Civil Service Retirement Disability Fund. They're just not putting money in there. They're just putting IOUs in there. Whenever they raise the debt ceiling, we get more money. We'll put the money in there. They're putting IOUs in the Federal Employees Retirement System Thrift Savings Plan. That's how they're keeping the deficit below the ceiling. But they're going to run out of gimmicks by October 11 or October 18, somewhere in there. So something's going to have to be done. And this, by the way, is despite the fact that the government has been continuing to run these huge deficits. In May, they ran a deficit of $139 billion. In July, they ran a deficit of $98 billion. In August, they ran a deficit of $148 billion. So they've still been running these huge deficits, and they've been using these gimmicks to sort of conceal the impact from the American people. They're running out of gimmicks here. In October, something's going to have to be done. Now, here is President Obama talking at this roundtable yesterday. It's clip number 9. No. Let's play clip number 9 because this is on the debt ceiling issue. This goes back to 2007 when and listen to what he said about the debt ceiling. Now he's saying, look, Democrats, to the Republicans, just go in there and raise it. All you got to do, Jay Carney, all you got to do is go in there and raise it. Just do it. Not a big deal. Go ahead and do it. Here's President Obama in 2007 when George Bush was the president.
Okay, guys, I've got to go vote. We are voting on the budget today. It's a sad state of affairs. We just voted to increase the debt limit. The U.S. total debt at this point exceeds $8 trillion. That's 8 trillion with a T. So we've got to get our fiscal house in order here in Washington. I'm not sure it's going to happen under the current leadership in Congress.
Can you believe that? 2007, the debt was $8 trillion, and President Obama thought that was a staggering, unconscionable level of debt in 2007. Now it's more than twice that, and he wants to raise it even more. And he said yesterday, hey, just because we're raising the debt ceiling doesn't mean we're increasing the debt. I mean, that's just absurd. It's just staggeringly absurd. Why would you raise the debt ceiling if you're not going to borrow against it, if you're not going to borrow more money? That's all the pressure's coming down on the Republicans. Got to raise the debt ceiling. Why? So we can increase the debt, so we can borrow more money. Now, here's what President Obama said, clip 10, to these executives yesterday. Let's listen.
You have never seen in the history of the United States the debt ceiling or the threat of not raising the debt ceiling being used to extort a president or a governing party and trying to force issues that have nothing to do with the budget and have nothing to do with the debt.
So that's President Obama saying this is unprecedented. This has never happened before in American history, where the debt ceiling debate has been used to put pressure, political pressure, on a president. The Washington Post calls him out on this today, gives him basically 4 Pinocchios, liar, liar, pants on fire award for this. And they went back and did, this is the Washington Post calling out President Obama. In 1973, when Richard Nixon was president, Democrats in the Senate, including Senator Edward Kennedy and Walter Mondale, sought to attach a campaign finance reform bill to the debt ceiling after the Watergate-era revelations about Nixon's fundraising. So 1972, they tried to use the debt ceiling debate to do something about campaign finance reform, something wholly unrelated to the debt. A comprehensive 1993 study of the politics behind the nation's debt limit shows that, quote, this is the Washington Post again, the use of the debt ceiling vote as a vehicle for other legislative matters, end quote, became an extremely common thing in the mid-1970s and 1980s. President Obama says it's never happened before in the history of the world. And here the Washington Post says, no, it was common in the 70s and in the 80s. They've had proposed changes in Social Security have been tacked onto it. An end to U.S. bombings in Cambodia was introduced one year. One amendment was proposed one year to create a nuclear freeze. 25 non-germane amendments were attached to debt limit bills between 1978 and 1987. In 1982, Howard Baker allowed 1,400 non-germane amendments to be introduced to a debt limit bill. They were all later removed. Anita Krishnakumar, in a 2007 paper for the Harvard Journal on legislation, said that less than 10% of the debt limit bills passed between 1978 and 2002 contained amendments not related to the debt or budget. So 10% of the time, these debt ceiling bills actually included non-related amendments. Here's what the Washington Post says. Bottom line, clearly, Obama's sweeping statement does not stand up to scrutiny, even with his caveat. Time and again, lawmakers have used the must-pass nature of the debt limit to force changes in unrelated laws. Well, let's grab a phone call before the break. Let's go to Faith in Tampa, Florida. Faith, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Oh, hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to let you know that Obama may not have the death penalty, but I have a heart condition. And the day after he announced Obamacare, I went to have my prescriptions filled, and they will not refill my nitroglycerin.
Now, did they tell you why they won't do it?
Oh, well, they canceled it, and I can't even buy it. It's only $6.
Wow, but you can't even get it. Now,
Nope.
now, do you have reason to connect that to the Obamacare policies? It sounds like they could be unrelated issues.
Well, no, I don't have anything physical, no physical proof, but I do know that he, in that statement that he made when Obamacare came out, that he will not do anything to prolong anybody's life.
Yeah, that's right. You just go home and take the pill.
Yeah.
All right, Faith, listen, I'm sorry to hear about that for you. And again, we're dismantling the greatest healthcare system the world has ever seen. I got a piece here from the National Journal, left-leaning journal. This is actually from some time ago. But the title of the piece, Obama's Affordable Care Act looking a bit unaffordable. So this is a left-wing journal, National Journal, talking about the fact that Obamacare is going to increase insurance costs. This is an outfit that's in his corner. Focal Point and AFR Talk back in 2.